Hey guys, my name is Forbar and welcome to the third episode of my Let's Play. So, um, really quick explanation on to why I have the gameplay sped up 5 times the normal speed. Um, I have been working to get new editing software, and this is me playing around with it. So, but also when I recorded the first, what's going to be 14 minutes and 6 seconds of this video, after editing, upon listening back, I realized that the game volume drowned out my voice, and I had no way to actually um, raise my microphone volume, while lowering the game volume at this stage. So I figured I would give you a really quick recap, just to kind of zip through everything in these 14 minutes of the video. And so what happened, or so what's going on is I'm finishing off the farm. I wanted to fence it in. I wanted to get the farmland actually done, and I wanted to have it look pretty and nice and ready for whatever crops that we happen to get. So currently we're growing potatoes, we have pumpkins, and we have wheat. Um, Also, for the remainder of this series, or not the remainder, but that makes it sound like it's ending soon. But for future episodes going on, I would like you guys, like, I would very much appreciate if you just, or if you would comment things that you would like me to do. So, for example, doing things like a witch farm would be kind of a fun task. I just recently built one in my single player world that I'm just playing around in, and while it was a pain to build, it would be fun to do one. Um, any Really any type of farm would be really fun to do. I personally enjoy building lots of farms. Uh, as you can kind of tell from the first about 4.5 minutes of this video, where I'm building a massive farm. But just large grindy projects are really enjoyable to me, especially if I can make them look aesthetically pleasing, especially because for most things I am aesthetically challenged. So if you guys have ideas on how I could make my buildings better, that would be another appreciated bit of input. But that's another reason why I kind of went for, I guess you could call it an asymmetrical farm. I just put out a plot that looked kind of large farm-esque and ran with it, and kind of went with the um, slope of the area already. Also, I want, or in, I am going to, in the remainder of this episode, build a villager breeder, hopefully, or at least get it started. Um, in just a few moments, we're going to get to the joyously long expedition of villagers. It was actually easier than I thought it would be. The most tedious, time consuming thing was just transporting the villagers over from the village that we discovered last episode. And it was. It was. Pardon. It was interesting because we ended up building a large sky bridge. We carted the villagers over, and previously, whenever I dealt with villagers, I had issues. Also, as if you're wondering why trapdoors, I personally enjoy having trapdoors on my water sources now, because whenever you break crops, the crop won't fall into the water. So it's just a nice thing, and also when you're walking around, you don't just randomly fall into a puddle. But as I was saying, the villagers, previously, whenever I had dealt with villagers, it had been just this horrible nightmare of villagers being one of the stupidest creatures on the planet. And I'm sure most of you can agree with that. Villagers, it's like you want them to go one way and they just go the exact opposite. And it's like they enjoy that. And it's probably the most infuriating thing in the world. I had very little of that, thankfully. We did have a little bit of a boat mix up, as in, by the time I finished the sky bridge and I got back, there was 2 villagers in a boat. And I had to figure out how to, pardon, how to get them back in the correct boats without too much of an issue. So, as of this exact moment, I am not sure if I want to leave the sky bridge. I'm going to leave that up to you guys. If I leave the sky bridge, I'm going to pretty it up. I'm going to make it look nicer. I'm going to make an actual bridge as opposed to just this really weird looking, just really horrible, unaesthetic looking walkway. It's a floating catwalk at this point. So, for those of you that are good at building and good at making things look aesthetic, if you guys want me to leave the bridge and make it look good, please drop that in the comments. Say, hey, I want this. I would like to see this. I might not get to everything right away, but this series will need all of your support going into the future. And I would like to make this series go on for a long time, and I'm going to run out of ideas rather quickly. So, having fun, just crazy ideas for builds would be interesting. And I don't mind doing large redstone builds. I'm not the best at redstone, but there's always room for improvement, and what better way to improve than by doing? And also, I'm going to avoid going to the Nether as much as humanly possible until the 1.16 update, which should be happening, I believe the last date that I heard was in June or July. So that would be great, since June is just it's 3 days away now? Yeah, it's 3 days away. June is 3 days away. So it could be soon, it could be, so hopefully it's within the next 30 to 60 days. That would be great, because then we can go explore the Nether. We can add even more into this Let's Play. Sadly, with the Nether being overhauled and a lot of things getting removed, such as pigmen, I can't build a ridiculous pigmen gold farm like is really fun to do. I personally enjoy, like I said, I enjoy large grindy projects, so building a ridiculous gold farm would be really fun for me, but I see no point in it, as 1.16 is literally right around the corner. I feel like I would get the project done, and then as soon as I got it done, 1.16 would come out, and that would make it, I'd get one good AFK session in, It'd probably be an overnight AFK, and then that would be all of our profits from the AFK, from the gold farm. Which, I mean, albeit wouldn't be the absolute worst thing because we'd get lots of gold. I also was looking into 1.16 for update wise, and there should be a almost as efficient gold farm, hopefully, in that update. So I'll just wait for that to come. I'll wait for 1.16 to come out, and then we can go into the Nether, brand new, have no pre-generated terrain whatsoever, and we can just have the brand new biomes. However, current goals for this series would be, or are still, I want to build the city. I want to populate the city with villagers, and I also want to have a trading hall. So my current idea is I want to have a villager breeder, and I want to have a trading hall with good villagers. So, but I would also like the city to have actual citizens and people walking around, and since this is a single player world, the only way I can populate it is through villagers, and keeping them unemployed would be just, I guess, the same. I could put professions on them. I'm not going to stress too much about the random villagers that are populating the town. The trading hall villagers are going to be the ones that I care more about. And the trading hall I will definitely be working on once I build it. It'll just be a thing that I upgrade as we play. So I don't expect to devote a whole episode to the villager trading hall. I would like to, I'll build it in the next episode because I definitely won't get to it this episode. But I also don't want the entirety of 2-3 episodes to be villager based. I would like to get exploring, and we've been doing a lot of base building. So next episode, episode 4, will be villager related, just getting the last bit of our infrastructure in place, and then for episode 5 it will just be a nice little adventure. But yeah, actually for episode 5, since it's going to be an adventure, we could definitely do with getting plenty of resources because we're running low on quite a few things, as well as just mob drops in general. But as for this, I hope you guys enjoyed our little time lapse. Let's continue the episode. Alright guys, so let's get our village breeder set up. I think where I want to put it actually might be right up here, which is kind of annoying because I put the our friends over there, but I think having our little villager breeder here will work wonders. So let's hop to it. We're going to need another, I think we're going to need 2 hoes, just in case. So the villager farm that, or the words, the villager farm design that I'm going for was made by Impulse SV. So it takes two separate people's ideas and just puts them together. And I honestly, I do not remember who the two people's ideas were, but there's a farming aspect and a breeder aspect. So if you have the farm itself, I actually need to get a shovel as well. But the farm itself I'm making as an, there we go, 8 by 8 diamond pattern. Okay, so really quickly while I clean out this little platform for our village breeder, I want to put the village trading hall kind of close to where our house is and also close to the village breeder, so that way the water system doesn't have to take the babies too far. And I also have to make sure that the water system doesn't get a little too weird, because villagers can get caught up in the system and just create backup. So if you guys have an idea, let me know the coordinates, please, or at least an idea of where it should go. Okay. So this is our beginnings for our farm. So we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so in this quick little time lapse, I want to apologize for all the really heavy time lapses for this video. I want to try to get away from that in the coming episodes, but seeing as how I'm trying to keep my videos around 20 minutes and I only had about 6 minutes left, I wanted to get some good work in. But as for the actual design of the villager breeder, it's just a diamond pattern, 8 blocks out from the middle in each direction, and then on one end you actually have your villager breeding module. I will eventually go out and get glass and then trapdoors over the top, so that way lightning doesn't strike the villagers and turn them into witches. So other than that, it was also really oddly funny and convenient when I go to get the villager and one of them had already turned into a farmer, so I didn't have to really think much about it. But once we got the villager inside of the farming area, we got him some potatoes so he can farm to his Irish heart's content. All he wants, potatoes, potatoes, potatoes. And then I got the actual breeder aspect itself done. I had to reposition that water source that was right in the way, because where the water source was is where I needed to put a bed. Because really quick, for those of you that played old Minecraft and doors were the big thing for villagers, they changed that over to now it's beds. So now villagers detect beds, and so the 2 villagers that go into the system detect 2 of the beds, then villagers can produce up to 2 babies per day, which produces, which uses the other 2 beds. That's the basic synopsis on why this breeder works, as opposed to the old breeder where you just had doors and doors and doors. And it looked really weird because you'd put them underground or you'd have them with sky access, depending on what version you were in, and for whatever reason they had a fetish for doors. But once I finally got them in, everything just fell into place after that. Alright guys, this is going to wrap up episode 3. Thank you very much for watching. This is going to be the basic design for our villager breeder. However, once we get everything a little more progressed in our town, we will be upgrading our villager breeder, and over there is going to be where our output for villager babies is going to be. Currently, I'm just going to have a trapdoor, so that way, whenever they're bred, if we have too many villagers, then they'll just drown, and we have an automatic killing system. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.